All right, sorry for the messy desk, but we could get through this, no problem. So this was on 1020 accounting reconciliation. Bank reconciliating is comparing and matching the bank statements to the general ledger cash balance. Use checks for if it's good, use question marks if it doesn't match, and then use circles for if it's open, and then use a red pen. So we could see here that the ending balance on the bank statement is 5,900. So 5,900 is here. And then we could see the ending balance for the general ledger is 3,340. We can see that 3,340 is here. All right, so now we're doing checks. So we see this deposit for 1150. We see the deposit right here for 1150. Deposit for 190. We see the deposit here for 190. And then we get our first circle, which is this dividend, cash dividend for 900, but we didn't see no 900 cash dividend here. We move on. There's a bank collection for 2,100, but we don't see no 2,100 here. And we continue this for the charges, this interest for 30, charges for 20, NSF for 50, EFT for 400. All of it is not recorded here. But then checks is another thing. Checks, we get this 307 for 100. It has a question mark because we didn't even get it on our cash payments where we have all our check numbers. There's no 307. So later on, we recorded that as a bank error, and then we got back our $100 that the bank charged us. Next, we get our 332. 332 was here for 3,000. And then we get to our next problem where we got this on our check number 333. We got an amount of 150, but here it was accounted for as 510. But that was a book error. Like whoever wrote our books, they misplaced the numbers. So later on, we subtracted the 150 from the 510, which got us 360, which we could see right here. 360 book error addition because we accidentally charged it as 510. This one's a little bit different because it was a bank error, so that's why it was recorded on this side, not this side. Moving on, the 334, $100 charged. We see it there. It's all accounted for here. But on this row, we have all these checks where we don't see them on the bank statement. So we have all these checks here that don't match to the bank statement. So this would make us, or this would make all these outstanding checks. So we would copy all this information right here and then put it right here under outstanding checks. So after we pasted all the check numbers and then the amounts, we got a total of a credit of 1,340. And then this deposit in transit from December 31st for 1,600 is basically the one right here in our general ledger, a cash receipt for 1,600, which didn't get put here. So that means it's still in transit. So that's why we recorded this 1,600 here. The banker, as we know, we didn't do this check. The bank charged us. So we basically got our money back, and we put it right here. And then that totaled to the 6,260. All right. So all this was basically us figuring out all the checks and then the one that was in transit. And then the big statement, obviously, was from the big statement. Just, I'm still kind of learning this. This doesn't really make too much sense to me because it is a check, but I guess that's how it just works. It's going to be hard for me to figure that out because it'll be in general ledger. I won't connect that to that. But, practice makes perfect. Next, we're going to be looking at the right side, which basically is everything that was circles, but that wasn't a check. So we see the 900 here for dividend being put right here. We have the bank collection for 2,100 being collected right there. We see the interest being collected right there. And then all of these are deposits, so that's why they're positives, additions. And then we get into our expenses, charges. So we have our $20 charge. We have our other deductions, which is the 50 and 400, which are all right here. And then we could see here the book error that we made that was on our part, which was 360, which was basically when we subtracted 150 from 510, which was 360. And then after we added everything up, the sum of it was 6,260, which basically meant that it balances. And then that's how we know this is our cash balance, which will be recorded in our general ledger, I believe. I do not quote me on that, but yeah. I'm still trying to learn all this. The book error and the bank error is definitely going to slip me up, and then I don't like how this is not a check, but yet we still record it here. But you know, trial and error. I'm sure the homework will have more examples because I was trying to find in the book for more examples, but I couldn't really find too much. But yeah, just practice makes perfect. Just know where each one goes, and then just know that this is mainly just checks, and then this is mainly just everything else that isn't a check that are circles. And then, you know, just keep on practicing it until you learn it.